What's up, gamers? Mass Gamer here again to bring you another one of my Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 weapon reviews. Today we are here to talk about the MK14 single shot assault rifle. So first we're going to go ahead and do a spray comparison. This is a MK14 with no attachments. See the hip fire, not too bad. I'll give you a couple of different examples aiming down the sight. As you can see, this is an extremely accurate weapon. It also happens to be quite powerful. So you can see the cone of fire, it's pretty good. Seems that when you're shooting it from the hip, it's a little bit less accurate when you're actually using the weapon. And here is with a red dot and rapid fire. And this is, I'm trying to do this as fast as I can, just to kind of show you how the spray is going to be, which it's not too bad compared to the other assault rifles. Aiming down the sight, it's pretty much the same as the last example. Obviously, the faster you go, the less the accuracy can be. But yeah, if you look at that, that's a really tight spray. Looks really good, and it is as accurate as it looks. So we'll go ahead and jump right into our gameplay here. Went ahead and changed it up a little bit on this one. We are playing Demolition on Seatown. Probably not the best map for it because it's not really a close range rifle in my opinion, but anyways, here we go. Now what I'm going to do here is kind of talk a little bit about the different pros and cons of this weapon. First thing, it is a mid-weight feel. I mean, you're going to be fairly light on your toes with this. It's not going to be super heavy, and it's not going to bog you down too much, but I'd consider it a mid-weight assault rifle. It is a single shot weapon, so you know, obviously you want to take that into account when you are using it. Some maps aren't going to be really well suited for it if you're in a lot of close quarter combat, depending on your skill level. The iron sight on this one, I can use it with the iron sight, or I can use it with a red dot or whatever. The good thing about this weapon is that it is pretty yeah, look at that guy just camping out there with his FMGs. It's cute. One of the good things is it's a versatile weapon. You can really use a lot of different attachments with it. It really just comes down to what you're comfortable with. Regardless of that, I say that you definitely need to have rapid fire on this one if you're going to use it at any level of effectiveness. So that's going to really improve the amount of kills you're able to do with it and get you out of some tight situations. So like I said, there's a lot of different attachment options, but typically what I suggest for this is to use red dot and rapid fire. And the proficiency, obviously attachments, you know, you can use any of the different sights that you like with it, whatever, but I just prefer the red dot. I think it's the best, most versatile sight. Now as far as the ratings for this weapon go, I rate all of the weapons on 4 different categories on a scale of 1 to 5 with a total of 20 points per weapon. The first category is power. Second category is the accuracy and reliability, which is, you know, how accurate the weapon is going to be overall. Close range, short range, long range, that kind of a thing. And obviously the reliability of the weapon, you know, if you're using it, you know, can you count on that weapon, or is it one that's going to fail you, like the M16 fails completely. Then the next one is going to be the first strike, which is if you're, you know, meeting face to face with someone in a sticky situation, you know, who's going to get that first shot off, who's going to, you know, be able to get aimed down that sight fastest, which also does happen to have to do with the rate of fire as well. So for the MK14, the power, obviously this thing, it's a no-brainer. It's extremely powerful. I give it a 5. The accuracy and reliability, this is a very, very accurate weapon. I do give this one a 4 in the accuracy and reliability section. Movement, like I said, it's about a midweight. I'd give it a 3 on the movement. And for the first strike, I will give it a 2. If you come up against somebody with an SMG that's decent aim, I mean, you're usually going to be in trouble. That's probably this weapon's largest downfall. And obviously it's a single fire weapon, so it can make it a little bit difficult if you're going up against someone with, you know, say a Type 95 or a ACR or something like that. They'll end up out shooting you depending on how quick your trigger finger is. So overall, this weapon is going to get a 14 from me, and I've used this a lot. I have several thousand kills with this weapon, and every time I use it, I have people, oh, you're modding, oh, you're hacking, oh. you know, whatever, the same crap everybody says when you're doing well with this type of weapon. Just like the FN FAL in Black Ops, you know, if you had a quick trigger finger, people are calling you a hacker right away. But whatever, it's all good. There's no mods here. It's all just rapid fire and a quick trigger finger. Now the game types for this weapon, you know, I would say if depending on your skill level, you probably don't want to use this on really small maps if you're trying to play aggressive or whatever. I'd stick to you know, some smaller maps with it if you really, I'm sorry, some larger maps with it if you want to get some real good kill death ratio out of it and really put up a lot of numbers. You'll see here that you know, I'm pretty decent with this weapon, so I've, you know, I'll use it on any map, but you know, I consider myself a little bit better than average. So the game types, I would say, probably want to, you know, like most of the weapons with a slower rate of fire and you know, not so quick on that first strike rating. I would say that you probably want to avoid free-for-all, but for most game types, this one's going to be good. It's pretty versatile depending on your skill level. So now the player skill, I rated on three different ratings. That would be the beginner, and then you would have the average, and then you would have the good players. So I would just say if you're playing and you're just starting out at this game, you probably want to avoid this weapon for a while because definitely takes some getting used to, and you know, there's a little bit of a learning curve and an amount of skill that's necessary for you to use this effectively. So I'd say it's more for the upper tier average to the good player to really effectively wield this weapon. And then the player types that would use this, I also have three different categories for that. That would be the defensive, or the camper, whatever you want to call it, the person defending the flag, defending the bomb, whatever the case is, to moderate, which is going to be more of a mid player. I'd say for this gameplay that you're looking at right now, I'm playing a little bit more on the moderate scale. You know, you're kind of sticking and moving, holding down a spot for a little bit, stick and move kind of a thing, but you're not necessarily hiding in a corner camping. And then the third would be the aggressive player, which usually is what I prefer to play. But with this gun type, you've got to be a really good player to really go aggressive with it. To really go aggressive with this one, you just have to have some pretty upper tier skill levels. So I'd say this one's going to be more for the moderate to defensive player. If you're a mid player, you can really do some damage with this weapon just because of the strength. But you know, if you're going to be rushing around all over the map, you're probably not going to have a lot of success, just because once you do come up, you know, up against 2-3 different opponents at a time, it's going to be a little bit tougher to keep up that rate of fire and take them all down. Now, the best class setups for this one, this is a slower weapon, so I mean, you can do a few different things with it. It is highly accurate, long range, so you can kind of mess around with your classes a little bit, but just like most of the assault rifles, I'll suggest that you use sleight of hand in your first slot. You know, that extra reload speed is definitely going to greatly increase your kill death ratio overall, in my opinion. And I'd say quick draw. Quick draw would probably be something you'd want to use for this weapon, just because when you do come up against people, you're going to want to aim down the sights because of the slow rate of fire and the diminished accuracy that's going to happen when you're spraying and aiming in up close quarter combat battles. So I would say quick draw, and if not, you know, obviously assassin or hardline. And then the third, which, you know, I'd say stalker is probably going to be really important, because with this one you're going to want to pop off a few rounds, move, pop off a few rounds, move. You know, if you don't kill them the first couple times, so having that extra aiming down the sight speed is definitely going to be good. And I definitely get lucky coming up here. I don't know how that happened, but there you go. So basically, this weapon, a few tips for this weapon is, you know, if you don't get them in the first 3 rounds, I'd say you want to move. You should be able to take them out pretty quickly, and if not, you want to back off. You probably don't want to rush too hard with this gun, just because up close, like I said before, you're going to have a little bit of a difficulty as far as you know, when you come up to a few different opponents at the same time. So you probably don't want to rush too much with it. And you know, head glitching is something that pisses people off, but this is a really great weapon to do some good head glitching, because it's so powerful, and if all they have to shoot at is your little head when you're hiding behind something, they're going to have a tough time outgunning you with this weapon. Other good thing about this weapon is that it's really accurate, but has really good penetration. Penetration. But basically, you're really going to be able to do some damage through the walls because of the amount of damage that this weapon puts out. So those would be some good things. Obviously, the pros of this weapon is that it does have a really strong damage. Really high damage weapon would probably be the thing, and it is also not just high damage, but it's also very accurate when you're aiming down the sides. So probably one of the most accurate guns in the game, in my opinion. So obviously, with this weapon, like I said before, you probably want to be a little bit higher skill level before you start wielding it. That was kind of a anticlimactic end there. But anyways, guys, this gun, an overall 14. We rate this on out of 20. We do appreciate you watching the videos. Please subscribe, like, favorite, and all that good stuff. And if you have any comments, please paste them below. And until next time, Mass Gamer is out.